Motion to accept the minutes for October 1st and October 8th. Public meetings.
Second.
Go right into our official reports.
Yeah, I have a couple. Since we last met, the ambulance met a week ago yesterday, and they were pretty excited about the new ambulance, which was due to be delivered on Saturday. And then Saturday came, and the ambulance was delivered, so it's sitting in the fire department right now, along with the old one. The old one's still gonna be in use for a little while, and it's gonna be probably a couple weeks before the new one's in service, because they have to do the radios and do, all kinds of preparation to get it going. But have you seen it?
No.
It looks really nice. It's got some nice yellow marks in the back. Other than that, ambulances, they all basically look the same, but this one stands out. It's got the yellow stripes in the back. It must be a safety feature, yellow and red diagonal stripes. So it looks pretty good. It's nice and roomy inside, and like I said, the ambulance department's really pleased with themselves, and that was largely because of a grant. And so, these big ticket items that the town needs are hard to get, so that was much appreciated, and it's going to serve everybody in town. So that was that meeting. And then last night, the fire department met, and they've been working over there on their vehicles. I guess they changed the tires on tanker number 8. They've been swapping the tires out. They did that in-house, so that's complete. I guess there was engine number 2 had some sort of valve that needed replacing. They did that. The tanker 8 had some sort of floating strain that needed replacement. They did that. There's a whole bunch of little things that they did. The forest truck, they had a minor repair on that, and then they took it somewhere and showed it in a parade or somewhere, and everybody's pleased with that. And I guess it needed a new right directional front light, so they replaced that, and everything's good. And that was basically the meeting.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Do you want me to go over the health stuff when we
Sure.
have the time? So for the 2025 budget stuff, I did get the information from Health Trust. That's their packet, and then I highlighted the anticipated changes in there, and then I did a packet for each of you, my math that I figured, along with what the plan costs are.
Okay. Thank you.
So, how I figured the cost for next year is I took which plans are currently signed up right now. So you've got 3 employees that are at the single rate, well, 2 that are at the single rate, and then 1, if he comes on as a full-time employee, would be at the single rate. And then we have 2 that are on the family rate right now, and then I calculated in if a highway employee came in at a family rate, because that's the highest rate, so I know that we've got still an open position on the highway department
Right.
that we have to fill, so I calculated it at the higher rate. So for that, for 12 months, I came up with $127,000, or $127,112.76. And that's just for the health insurance. For the dental, we charge the single rate, so it doesn't matter, even if someone takes family, they cover their dependents. So I did based off of 5 on the single rate, because we have at least 1 person currently on that does not take dental. We've got 3 that do, and then potentially the other 2 might. So I did it at 5, at $48.25 a person a month, and that comes to $2,895 for the year. And then the short-term disability was harder to do because they don't give you an actual rate, they just give you a percentage. And that went down a little bit, so I estimated that it was going to be at a rate, so right now it's at a rate of $12.50 per person, so I estimated $12.30 per person. So with a yearly cost of $885.60. The budget's going to want that.
So, how does this figure into the selectmen's budget? Are we
We
So
gonna raise it?
you've got to decide, yeah, what do we have currently in those slots? Hold on. I'm just gonna bring it up.
$104.16 for dental.
Yeah, so currently, like we said, we've got 16,000 in dental, which is really high, so we can bring that down. And then 100 for health insurance, we gotta bring that up. And then life and disability, we have at 1,200, so we can bring that down a little bit.
Okay. So we can make all those changes and then vote on it at a later meeting, or
Yeah, I just wanna know if you guys want me to go ahead and fill those numbers in
I say,
to save it.
my view is yes.
Yes.
And then there may be other changes before the budget actually goes to the budget committee, which you said they were gonna, it's in December, so we have plenty of time, as long as we stay ahead of that.
Andrew, you wanna come up and do this now? I got 2 minutes, so we wanna go
1 minute.
1 minute now.
Pretty close, less than a minute.
I feel like this isn't necessary, but move the chair. So this, I think Sarah passed around my update, which ultimately is there is no great update, except that the property owners behind are looking at surveying their property and putting it on the market in late winter, early spring next year, so they're about a year behind. And they think that after the survey is done, they'll be more interested in talking about a subdivision. My worry is that another winter with that roof is not, it's not good. Like, I think the roof needs to be, I mean, you saw it, I think everyone has been inside. It needs to be replaced before winter, ideally. So I'm just looking to kind of brainstorm some ideas with you and figure out if it's possible to get a roof on it before some sort of sale goes through, we can craft an agreement, or if, or one of the options was a boundary line adjustment, which I think is still, it's gonna take time, it's not gonna be done, probably before a roof can get replaced either. So I don't know if anyone had thoughts, or if, if there were internal conversations that you had about the timeline, or.
I know the roof looks pretty bad on that side that's over
It's
by
really
your
the
house.
north side,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the worst.
And you've looked at that too, Ed, and
Yes.
you were inside more
Yeah.
recently than me. Is it like trickling? Is it,
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
leaking? Is it obviously leaking?
Yeah.
Well, once that starts to happen, it's not long before everything leaks
Right.
and the roof falls down.
Lester's delaminating, there's black, I don't know if it's black mold, but there's black colored mold on the walls and the ceilings.
What would it take to repair the roof?
So, I mean, I've
We
got all the,
could, we could get the existing roof off to see how much damage is underneath.
Is there something, maybe before any deals are done, is there something the board can do to like get that roof, at least so it's not leaking through the winter, I wonder?
yeah, it could be dark. I mean, I do have all the roofing materials sitting in my driveway. It'd be great to get those out of my driveway and onto the building, but, if the select board would feel more comfortable with just a temporary solution, that's better than nothing.
Who would you have to do it?
The tarp or
The
either.
roofing.
Yeah, I'd find someone, either my brother and me, or,
Then how would that pertain to the whole situation? What happens if we don't go through with it because of problems that you've already encountered with the subdivision of the?
yeah, I mean, I guess in that way, the tarp would be the safest for me.
Yeah.
It's fewer dollars I could put into the building.
I think the board, if we do the tarp, I think the board ought to do the tarp. And just keep it clean until something happens. That's just,
Well, that's why I'm saying that.
yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen in time,
Mhm.
whether the subdivision, like you said, by reading this, I'm saying that the subdivision's not gonna happen. I'm
Or
taking
at least
it,
not immediately, yeah, I mean,
yes,
and
but I'm
if they're
taking
still
it,
at
you're
that
thinking
price
that the
point.
subdivision's gonna be, the price, for you to obtain that piece is gonna be outrageous.
Yeah, I don't see her coming down, I mean, unless by, winter and spring, we see some market collapse, which I don't think it's gonna collapse
Right.
that much. Yeah, I mean, either way, like I expressed in my email, I wanna make sure that whatever the town is getting out of this is kind of commensurate with the.
We'd rather have something happen to the building before the roof gives away.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
and I think it's in the town's best interest to
do something.
do something.
Yeah.
Putting the tarp on can't be that, I mean, we should be able to afford that. I don't know. Mr.
No.
Finance over here, what do you think?
Tarps are expensive right now. They're stupidly expensive.
Like
But-
everything.
Not as expensive as health insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also don't wanna see you putting money into putting a new roof on there and something happen and you don't end up.
Right, and that's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
that's
agree
how I
with
feel
Town.
too. I think that's where the town should do
Well-
something and kind of stave off the roof deteriorating anymore, at least through the winter.
Cause
If we
if
can make it through the winter.
Cause usually you can just put new shingles on top of the old shingles, but with it leaking, you probably gonna wanna pull the old shingles off
There's something punky
to
under
see
there.
what's
Yeah.
underneath. Then
Yeah, I wouldn't want a shingle just.
you're gonna open a whole can of worms that you may not wanna do right now.
Right.
Right, but if we had a tarp, you wouldn't have to take all that stuff off, you wouldn't have to deshingle it, would you?
No, you just
You
throw a tarp on top of it,
Just cover it up,
probably a couple tarps, couple
Yeah.
100 footers.
Yeah, I forget the dimensions of the building, like 40 feet long, maybe 40 by 20 or something is the slope of that roof.
So it's got dimensions.
I have it in here if you remember where it is.
I'd like to,
in the report.
it'd be nice to get one big tarp instead of a couple
Right,
tarps.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
because
then
when
it's
those get a windstorm, it's gonna start separating, and,
Yeah.
I mean, a big tarp's gonna be tough enough. Didn't we have a huge tarp one time when they did the, not the town, not the shed, the secondary shed,
Actually, you know, I might even have an enormous tarp.
you know, when we,
Also,
We need a tarp to woodshed,
No,
Right, right.
just the
you know,
house.
just the house itself.
when we roofed that, Bob used that, he got a huge tarp. I don't know if the road department still has that, or if it walked away, or
It probably walked away.
probably did.
I think I have an enormous tarp.
Now we can send Anton to
Um,
get one.
The
Get one.
tarp end up in the pole barn over the highway departments, they got the concrete forms there in that back corner by the
Yeah.
cemetery cage.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
no-
feeling like I'm seeing a tarp over those,
No, there's
that
not.
wood and
The
stuff,
only
no?
tarp in there is over the thresher.
Okay.
Well, I can find out the.
It's a lot of words.
But we have Anton in fact, he's getting pretty good at roofs.
Yeah, take a look at it. Yeah,
It's got a lot of hand skills.
I mean, yeah, that seems like a great temporary fix. So if we could make that, and if you want, I mean, that's even greater if you think that that's a town responsibility.
Well, that's a town building, so. Unless you wanna donate one, but
Again, it's sitting in my driveway, so I can check, I think it's enormous. It might have some tears in it though, I'll inspect it.
It's what duct tape's for.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
okay.
Alright, so then I'll just keep you posted on what I hear back from the family, or should I pursue the boundary line adjustment? Just as an option?
I don't know, what do you think?
I don't know, I had a couple different questions on it. You talked about an artesian well. That would be a shared well between the two if the deal went through.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's on the table. I mean, I don't know what the historical society's timeline is, or their interest in getting a bathroom or running water, right? There's a spigot there from that main East Grafton line, but even if the church were operational, they're not pulling a lot of water, so I'm happy to put that into the agreement. I mean, really, I mean, ultimately, like, the appraisal came back at double the amount I was expecting, so, finding kind of creative ways to
Mhm.
limit the purchase price, but still give the town some benefit from the sale.
And you mentioned the boundary line adjustment, where would that be? And what does that consist of?
I think it would pretty much be that, like from the stone wall where the cow run is, over to my place, there's kind of a neat line, so it would give the church about 1.7, no, that's not right, 1.2 acres? What is 2.1? I think it's 2.1 acres is what it is now, so 1.6 acres would go with the church, and the smaller amount would go with the parsonage. When we walked the property lines, when I did it with Scott Sanborn, the church lot itself is actually pretty big, it goes back quite a ways. And when we drew the extra, acre or whatever that the church would get, or half an acre that the church lot itself would get, it didn't seem that beneficial. It's like rocky and wet, and considering, I mean, the meeting house is a half acre lot, and we're getting septic and a well for a general store on it. So, it seems
Yeah.
like a full 2 acres. I don't know why the DES is so adamant that it has to be a full 2 acres for a subdivision to happen. I don't get that, but I don't make the rules. Yeah, that's, I guess, the best.
Yeah, I can't find it. So we would be just, you'd work on just that right here, and just moving this into your property.
Yeah, I think actually just along this line right here. I can ask Scott more about it, press him. See what the hoops would be like for DES.
And how would that pertain to the town's 2-acre minimum?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that the town can kind of trump its own building, zoning, anything codes, right?
Well, right, but
We
if
can
we
move
did
it so
that,
much
then,
if
yeah,
it seems
every
like
Tom,
more
Dick, and Harry
favoritism.
could come in front of us and say, you know, yeah, the town did this, why can't you do that for us too? Yeah.
Well, this is a town-owned lot, so there aren't too many town-owned lots that would be.
No, but somebody that, from the public came along and said, well, I want, my lot, it's gonna be under 2 acres. But the town says you could have 2 acres, and they come back and say, well, the town took it to for their own benefit, why can't you do it for us?
Yeah, which I guess, I mean, the select board have to say, we have discretion, this is a special case, there's a pre-existing lot, it's, you know, it was originally 2 lots that were merged. Yeah,
It's like eminent domain. Eminent domain,
Oh, yes.
doing it for the good of the public. I'm not gonna do it for you, because it's not good for the public.
Exactly.
Okay.
did you get it?
No.
Thank you for clapping.
Well, I'll take my target and I'll get back to, I guess, Sarah.
Yeah, get back to Sarah on the tarp, and if that doesn't fit, we'll search around for one too. Let's see what we can do about protecting what we can with that roof for the
Okay.
winter.
Gallons and gallons of Gorilla Glue. Let's pour it.
That is,
Just roof over the tarp at that point. Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
update.
Oh, new business. Other business. Action items?
wanna go over action items?
Yeah.
Nothing with Avatar.
No.
Nothing with Johnson Lane. Did you talk to Jeff about Johnson Lane?
I talked to Jerry, but I forgot about Johnson Lane.
Okay. Junkyard on Blueberry Kinsman. What are you guys doing with that? Mitchell hasn't had a chance to go talk to the landowner yet.
And Mitchell said that he felt that we should just move along and find him and go from there. He feels at this point here, him getting involved is, ain't gonna do anything.
He's already been involved, hasn't he, somewhat? or-
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he doesn't want to do, I mean,
yeah.
there's no action there? Oh, that's unfortunate. That's why I'm glad we don't have a bunch of these going at the same time. So what, we're gonna start finding? What's the next step?
That-
Do we send a letter saying this is the last, is this your
Yes,
last?
he was given the opportunity to
I
come.
already sent that letter. I sent that letter last time, letting them know that you guys were gonna meet at the last meeting to discuss what the next steps were. So, he's well aware.
He's been informed.
He's been informed.
Did he get the letter? Was it certified or?
It was not certified.
But I'm sure he got it anyway.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him at all since then?
No, I haven't.
How much is the fine? $100 a day?
I'd have to lie.
That's only gonna lead us to problems.
Mhm.
So you've talked to him?
Yeah.
Have you talked to him?
Nope. I'm thinking we might wanna request him to come to a meeting and see all 3 of us at once.
I think
So
that's a good
basically
idea.
what's, okay, so let me
He
tell
was
you what
asked to
the,
come and he, never came.
let me tell you what the second letter said. Um, says, you were notified on May 14th that the Board of Selectmen had been informed of the illegal operation of junkyard on your property. You were given until June 14, 2024 to clean up the property or contact the selectmen to discuss the situation. Your failure to comply with the Town of Grafton junkyard ordinance will result in one of the following actions being taken by the selectmen per section 7 of said ordinance. Criminal sanctions, civil sanctions, $50 per day, injunction relief through court order in contempt actions for violation of court orders. This letter serves as notification that the matter will be discussed at the Selectmen's meeting on September 17th at 6 p.m. at the Town Hall on Turnpike Road. You are encouraged to attend, but your presence is not necessary for the Board of Selectmen to find you in violation of the junkyard ordinance, to take whatever action may be necessary.
Should our legal counsel be involved in this in any way, do you think? I mean,
At the point, probably now.
if we go ahead and just, he's gonna be, sooner or later, I would think, I don't know, suppose he doesn't do anything, what are we gonna do? You know, we have to do something, otherwise it's just a toothless, rule. You know,
Exactly,
We have to do
yeah.
something.
Start sending him fines.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
So how much did we say the fine was?
50.
If you order
$50.
that.
Wow.
Well, you always have the option, if he's, after you send him a notice and say, you are now being fined $50 a day, and if he cleans it all up within 2 weeks, you could take and forgive that,
We can,
but, yeah,
but it is the next step.
yeah.
you- So how do we tell them that the fines have started? Send them another letter?
Yes, let him know.
I suppose that's what we have to do.
So motion to, send him another letter, saying we're starting fines,
See, the fines have started.
Yep.
Your motion.
starting some fines.
So you're motioning to send him a letter that we're going to start finding him.
As a,
Did you say as of today? Sorry.
We haven't said
So
today
that-
yet.
I would go from the, figure when you, get that letter written and it's going in the mail, give them 2 days from the day that it goes out. That way they-
So I'll send it by Friday, so Monday.
Yeah,
Yep, so starting the 21st. Fines will start.
second.
You guys send that registered?
We haven't sent him registered as of yet,
Should.
so I don't think we are going to. Dennis doesn't like that. We could, but
We should send that one
registered.
registered.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes. You mean certified?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. So nothing on the equipment inventory, it's kind of got into budget stuff. Anything on the composting toilet?
No, I'm studying a book called Humanure, and I'll be able to comment more on it at a later meeting.
What, is,
It's a book, I don't know the exact title, but it's regarding composting and compost toilets, and they
Okay.
cleverly called it Humanure.
okay, so you're studying.
Yeah, I've spoken to both the ex-health officer and the current health officer, and gone over some of the points, and try to put it together as best we can and make a decision if there is anything we want to change. There may not be, but I suspect that there probably will.
Okay, that's all that's on there right now.
2025 budget?
All I had was the health.
Oh, that's where I went through that.
Yeah.
we get into correspondence. The first Selectmens meeting of November is actually election day. So we either gotta move it or cancel it.
We'll all be in the polling place all day long, but that won't really be a meeting, will it?
No.
So we should probably,
I would take it, just, move it to a different date. Yeah.
we could move it to the following day,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Move it to 6.
Yeah, that'd be okay with me.
Yeah. So motion to move the Selectmens meeting on November 5th to November 6th.
Second.
From David Hunter. Hi, hello Sarah, I'd like to give an update in prep for the November 5th election to the Selectmen. We have needed ballot clerks currently allocated and I'm in the process of confirming with them their promised availability. I'll be arranging to have 2 part-time backups just in case. I will be following up with the fire department on use of their space on the coming fire meeting. I'm happy to field any questions they may have.
What was the opening? Who is? Sorry, the first few words you said?
Who is it?
David Hunter.
No, what do you, who is he?
Hello, Sarah.
I'd like to give an update and prep for the November 5th election to the Selectmen. We have needed ballot clerks currently
Ballot,
allocated.
okay, I thought I heard
Okay.
Oh,
something,
okay.
something of those, I didn't. Thank you.
Public Health Council of the Upper Valley asking for $1,400.
1,400? They didn't get anything last year, did they? They haven't got anything in about 10 years, when they had a different name, Mascoma Valley Health Initiative.
Okay. From Enfield Town Manager. The town of Enfield has been working with the city of Lebanon, New Hampshire on a grant for preparing a watershed management plan for Mascoma Lake. We have received the grant and are starting to work on forming the steering committee for this important project to protect the water of our area. We are excited to invite you or someone from your community to join our steering committee. Since a portion of the watershed is in your town, would you have someone in your community who would be interested in helping with this important project? Grace from Facebook Environmental, copy above.
So they're looking for somebody from Grafton to participate in their steering committee?
Yeah,
Do you hear about the ordinance that they're considering in Enfield? That anybody that's living on the lake should have their septic systems inspected, like, I forget if it's yearly or every other year or something like that. By a certified inspector, no less, not just a sniffer.
Well, and
It's
sometimes
true.
you go in that lake, that's all you have to do is.
Yeah, well, it's a serious problem in bodies of water, is failed septic, so,
yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of people who wanna leave that town right now.
Right. That's an expensive proposition,
Yeah.
if they have somebody going around.
Education tax warrant for the tax year 2025. In accordance with the provisions of RSA 76:82, you are hereby required to access the sum of $254,412 for the 2025 education tax.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that number?
$254,412.
Thank you.
This amount is based on a uniform rate of $1,120 per 1,000. requires evaluation without utilities in the amount of $227,153,000. Holy fucking millions. If you wanna read it, you can come to the office and read it. It's the tax warrant.
So Mascoma has figured out what their information, so we can set our tax rate here. Is that
Well,
what that is?
this is the state education
Yeah.
tax.
Oh, it's a
warrant.
state,
So
state
the last
tool
piece
tax.
we're waiting on
Is
is.
the school
It's always a school, like always.
okay,
Yeah, they get it
Then
the
once we
very
have
last.
that,
we don't have that yet.
No.
no.
We don't get that till the very last minute.
At the last minute's gotta be getting close.
We're usually always
Yeah.
rushing to get,
That's the last one.
Yeah.
I think last year we passed it.
Yeah,
The year before was like,
you get later and later.
yeah.
Public comment.
I have a laundry list. First thing, I forgot to ask this, thank you for letting the budget committee sit with you for your budget workshop, that was great information for us to have. And I forgot to ask that day, Sarah, do you have the totals?
Totals? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like that's something that tends to be overlooked, and I wish it would have been brought up that day, although it's still good. I'd like the selectmen to be aware of how much you approved for the budget to increase from last year. Do you have that number?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have that.
So. I mean, the bottom line.
Yeah, the bottom line total.
So the 2024 total was 1,388,376. The 2025 total recommended by the Board of Selectmen is,
It's gonna probably be a little higher because you just changed the health insurance numbers, right?
yeah,
That's okay, it's still close.
is gonna be well, it's not gonna be 100% accurate because I think that's all I have in there right now.
You have
Oh
a
wait,
big-
no, never mind. Is 1,257,559.
No.
So,
So we're down.
It's 1.6, it's 1.6.
hold
and
on.
some
Yeah,
change.
so that's what it is. Cause I don't have,
Oh, you don't
I
have
have it in the
updated.
request line, I don't have it in the recommended.
Oh, you
line
didn't
yet.
fill in the
I haven't
selectmen's
had it,
recommendations
so that's
on your
without
line?
the selectmen
Oh,
recommendations.
then I'm terribly sorry I brought it up without bringing that with me, because I wanna say it's 1,619,404, I think.
Well, yeah, let me just take this.
That's okay. It's not that important, I just, at some point, I
So
would like
we're
to.
looking at $1.6 million, basically. is
Right,
what
and
you're
that
saying.
it was one of the reasons that Sandy Griffin and I put that total page on the spreadsheet and had everything automatically feed into it, because it's one thing to sit there and say this department that and that department that, but when you look at the bottom line, it can kind of make you stop and think twice about what you just did. And one other thing that came up on budget workshop day was paving. Is Snug Harbor Road going to be allowed to be
I'm
paved?
gonna talk about that in a couple minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, next question, if I may, unless somebody else wants to jump in. Did the cemetery trustees meet last week? There was no agenda posted, there's been no updated minutes posted.
They did meet.
Okay, thank you. Also, capital improvement, plan committee minutes have not been posted online, that should have been approved from the month prior, because the October meeting, no, the September meeting would have approved August. And
Correct.
I think those, or maybe they are up there, I could be wrong.
September meeting approved.
Strike that.
We're waiting for
Strike
the
that, yep,
October meeting, and he's usually pretty good about all this.
he is.
Yeah.
What
He's
was
not
the other
doing
one
that
that
one.
wasn't on there?
Capital improvement.
Capital improvement.
No, the one before.
Cemetery.
that.
Oh, cemetery,
Cemetery.
their agenda and their updated minutes.
Okay.
Their draft minutes are up there though, so it's not as big a deal, but I just wondered if they even met at all, because normally the agenda does get posted and emailed out, and it's kind of an anomaly for it to not happen, that's why I asked. When the new ambulance came in, I know that there was all kinds of scrambling around on the day you had your workshop. Trustees had to go meet to take care of money and things like that. Has the donation from the auxiliary come in and been included with the payment to the ambulance company?
I will have to talk to Kathy because that was not included.
I know it wasn't included in the warrant article, but they did do fundraising early on, and there was money that was specifically earmarked towards that ambulance. It would be more to their detriment than the town's if it doesn't come in, because as a 501c3, if you collect for a specific purpose and you don't use it for that purpose,
You'll
you're
lose it.
supposed to give it back.
Yeah.
Good luck finding out who put a buck here and there inside a jar of ham and bean stuffer, right? Leaf, are you ex officio to anything anymore? I noticed during ex officio reports you tend to not have
I
anything.
got the library,
Oh, you do still have library?
Library,
But they haven't
highway.
met since the last one, got it. And then very last one, fire wardens. Ran into Roger Prentice the other day and mentioned to him that someone had come to our house looking for a fire permit. And Steve declined giving them one because as far as he knew, he's no longer a deputy fire warden. According to the town website, is the truth, and I know you guys not too long ago, approved, or was that last year?
that's last year.
Roger says, no, Steve is still a fire warden. So I don't know if there's some way you can check who was last approved when he turned in a list and make sure the website's correct, because people will go there looking to see who they can hit up for a permit.
Yeah, I'll double check with Roger,
Yeah.
I just went off the list he gave me, so.
Yeah, I understood, yeah. And he might have been talking to me, because, whatever. So. That's the end of my long list, thank you.
That wasn't so bad. Short.
Maureen, anything?
No.
Jake? Paul? Cool. So final comments.
Okay, I'd just like to say, somebody did bring up, and I didn't mention it, the fire department, on the voting is on the 5th, Tuesday the 5th, on Monday the 4th. They'll be meeting at 6 o'clock to prep for the election day, so I plan on being there to help with the booths and so whatever needs help, so I encourage you, if you're available, to help out.
So we'll go right into Snug Harbor.
Go ahead, yeah.
So from what I've always known is when you're gonna pave a road, you do the base, you let it set a year, so it gets nice packed in, it's ready. He did not do that this year. He did the road, now he's not paving it, which is gonna cause issues, because when the dirt does settle, the tar is gonna be crap. And also the other fact is that we are raising those people's taxes
But
possibly
then on
without
paved
them,
road.
yeah, by probably not them knowing.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a pain for them to go down there and to grade for some reason, that little strip that's called Snug Harbor Road, and that's one of the reasons he wants it paved. That's
But
what I
if you
surmised.
grade Snug Harbor, you can go right across the road and go right
Right,
to land.
Well, Meadowlands across the road, so
Right.
it's got.
and he said it took, takes him 5 hours to do Snug Harbor, and that's BS.
I think that, this is my point of view, when we originally started putting that article on the warrant, it was to repave paved roads.
Right,
I
The
think we
existing
should try and
pavement.
stick to that.
exactly.
Only roads that should be paved is Pine Grove Cemetery should be back into paved.
Yeah.
That should never came out of paved.
Yeah, I agree, that should not have come out. Somebody liked to watch that machine work, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
because I know
But-
that got torn up.
That's gonna be a big ticket item because the road's gotta be prepped and then, you put the 2 coats down, 1 year and then
And
the
that
next
road's
year.
fixed.
So, and I know we have other roads.
So if he doesn't still want to pave a road, he can go from Slikers to Poitras's
You could do that, yeah.
and do the center of that road that's not done.
That one's Lab City.
Yeah.
Is he planning on paving and we're getting to the end of the year?
Next week,
Next
I think,
week.
sometime next week.
21st.
And does he know that how we feel about
You will,
Snug Harbor?
you will tomorrow
We
morning.
will tomorrow morning. We probably won't like that conversation.
Nope, probably not.
Okay, well, I'm in favor of not paving it, so.
We shouldn't have Jeffrey not pave Snug Harbor.
Oh.
Thank you for using your common sense.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And, aye.
You agree?
That's done. Anything else?
Yes, I got two. There's a guy in town that works for Freightliner, and he approached me the other day, and in just general talking, he said that the town, if they're looking to purchase a new truck, he said they would be willing to sit down with the road agent and see what he wants, and the town could take and order a new truck through them. There's no obligation and on it. He said right now it's gonna take about 18 months or longer to get a new truck. He said that should the town decide to look at one and order it, and then in 18 months it comes in, the town decides they don't want it, then it's nothing to the town. The town won't be penalized for it. He said there's plenty of other people out there looking for a truck. At the same token, he brought up a couple of good points. Is right now we're using the outfit over in Claremont, so every time our trucks need to get fixed, they have to go all the way over to Claremont. This guy is right up in Lebanon, right next to the fort. He does Mac and Freightliner, and
Gotta do everything.
yeah, and like we've seen already, 2 trucks have cost us $20,000 just in one whack because of what's going on with it.
I'm not a huge fan of Freightliner.
No idea. I don't know anything about any of
I
them.
know our fire trucks suck.
Yeah,
If they're not warmed up, they don't go. Once they're warmed up, they go like a bad helmet.
What about Mac?
yeah, exactly.
You know, the thing is that I'm not that crazy about international either.
Right.
For the reason it's so far to take them to get repaired, and we're always taking them there.
Right.
So they don't have a good track record either. But Freightliner, I remember we bought the used Freightliners that time. We bought, was it one from Canaan, which turned out not to be a great idea, but it might because it was beaten on before we got it.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it wasn't new. But it's a good idea to start, no matter what we get, to start thinking about it now, because it doesn't look like we'll be able to get one before
No, it's gonna take.
2026.
Right.
That's a long haul.
Right.
So if we have one in the works, and there's no obligation.
No obligation
We don't need to vote on it until
Right.
the year that we actually purchase it. If it gets turned down, they said they can get
Yeah.
rid of it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It seems like an odd deal, but like that seems
Yeah.
good to me.
Let's probably have him together with Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Have those two work.
It would be nice to have a schedule of replacement for all his vehicles down there. I'd like to get with Jeffrey on that too. You
Right.
know,
Yes.
in what order does this heavy equipment that you have need to be replaced? So we can start making longer range plans.
Exactly.
You know, and even this is a short range plan, we're talking 2 years away. I think it would behoove us to get our act together in that
Yeah.
department.
And one final one is some of you, Steve, you might remember Debbie Snow. She was our treasurer.
Yes.
She has passed away, and there will be
Uh,
service sometime
Okay.
coming weeks.
Okay, well, I'm really saddened to hear
Yeah,
that
she was
Debbie
a
has passed away. She was,
very good treasurer for the town.
she did a great job doing our books.
Yep.
And she was a big help in the office. She
Sure.
really was, so I'm really sad to hear that. And my condolences to Dexter.
Dexter, yeah.
He didn't like the assessor man either, did he?
No.
I have one more thing, if you guys are done.
Good.
I forgot one. The town report,
Yeah.
if you guys are okay with me doing it again this year, I'm fine with that.
Is there a reason why that doesn't go out to bid?
Last last year because we were rushed.
Not much last year, you guys posted it last year. It was the year before.
Oh,
that
I-
you
The
did
year
it.
before we were in bind, or
And when we ended
I
up
guess
getting
it's
some,
good.
yeah.
Right,
then we had to pay Sue a premium.
right, yeah.
And I, I for one don't think it needs to go out to bid.
Isn't the dollar amount that says whether it should go out to bid or not?
Yeah, no, it doesn't qualify for that.
It doesn't
doesn't
qualify,
qualify.
yeah.
Because neither one of us are doing it.
Well, actually, no, because she's not elected,
Yeah.
she's not elected, but you should recuse yourself. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I forgot to write that down, that was something I was gonna offer to do, just because of how much you have on your plate
Mhm.
and how it turned out last year.
I mean, I don't mind doing it again, but, my thing was though, is that we have to start thinking about who's gonna do the selectmen's report.